But actually, the reason why we know is because we're conscious. The reason why we know is because we're conscious. Because consciousness is what allows us to know. Computers don't know. It's foolish to think that computers understand. They don't understand. There is no meaning in the bits. The meaning can only be quantum, can only be something that exists in the fields. It doesn't even exist in quantum information. Quantum information can only represent what we know as meaning. You see, mathematics stops there for now. But there is a new math to be developed to go from qualia, which is sensations and feelings that can be represented by quantum information. Quantum information cannot represent the meaning, they represent the qualia. That's all they can do, which is how we feel. But qualia is the beginning of the inner journey. Qualia are the bringers of meaning. And we look for meaning. First comprehension, and then meaning. Comprehension gets you to meaning. Meaning is the essence of comprehension. Meaning is what you get after you got it. You know, I got it. I understand it now. That's beyond comprehension. Comprehension is a path to meaning. And meaning is the ontology. The ontology is in the meaning, in the experience, in what we feel, in what we know from within, not outside.
If you say meaning is the ontology, so meaning is what ultimately exists in our universe?
Yeah. But in order to make it more understandable, I start with a postulate. I start this all basic reframing with a postulate because I'm joining science and spirituality. I'm joining the outer and the inner. Science is about the outer world, but meaning, experience, consciousness, free will is about the inner world. And right now they're separate. There is the spiritual people that think that this exists, but the scientists say that doesn't mean. These guys look at those guys say matter doesn't care. So there is this separation now between science and spirituality. This way of thinking brings them together. They integrate them. Don't just oppose them. They integrate. They become one. They become one. So how do we start? So if we want to start like a new theory, I start with a postulate, because you had to. Because you can never start with something that is true because you have shown to be true. You have to start with postulate. Even in math, you start with postulates that are taken to be true, and they have to be self-evident.
Yeah, it's your ground assumption.
Ground assumption. But that ground assumption has to be self-evident. The ground assumption of quantum physics, they are so self-evident that you have to study 10 years before you say, oh yeah, they are evident. Not self-evident, they are evident after 10 years. So they don't pass the test of self-evidence to me. Okay, now I'm going to tell you a postulate that is self-evident. One, the totality of what exists, the totality of what exists has three properties. Dynamic. Dynamic means it's never the same instant after instant. Is holistic, means it's not made of separable parts. And so far, I have described the universe described by quantum physics.
Yeah,
as all these three, is all there exists, dynamic, holistic. I add one more thing, one more quality. One wants to know itself. One wants to know itself. Now, this comes from perennial philosophy. Know thyself was in the Delphi temple. It was part of the Greek, some of the Greek philosophers. But the Vedas were saying the same thing. All the basic experiences of the people that went deeper into the understanding of reality come to the same general conclusion that there is one that has those properties and they want to know itself. If I look within myself, what do I want to know when I was suffering? Who am I? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? What does it mean? Yeah, I want to know myself. So we all want to know ourselves. We all deep down, then we forget about it because we can do nothing about it, so we go we try to solve the problem by, going outside ourselves, and then we lose ourselves, like I did. And then, so if we start there, is it self-evident? It is self-evident to me, and if you think a little bit, it's self-evident to you. That is what you want, okay? So wanting means free will. Because if you are a machine, what do you want as a machine? The next state of the machine is already defined by the algorithm. What do you want? It doesn't make any sense. I don't want anything. But the question doesn't even make, there are no questions to a machine. There are only answers to a machine. So, and to know itself, one must be conscious. Because consciousness is what allows one to know itself. So I have defined free will and consciousness. And why are those self-evident? Because you're conscious and you have free will, and I'm conscious and I have free will. So more self-evident than that, what is there? And if I start there, I can explain quantum physics by that postulate. I can explain what physicists in 100 years have not understood. Quantum information is the representation of inner experience, and the collapse of the wave function is the representation of the free will. What more do you want?